realm. What does that look like? How is it changing? How can we improve? And what are we doing that's great? So yeah, that was my note this week is on communication. So that is the end of my comment, which brings us to something a little bit new. We have a general manager's update. So General Manager Scherzinger, what do you have for us this week?
Vice President Finn, board and staff, it's my pleasure to update you on a number of items here at the district. First, currently the district's water supply. So in the month of July, the groundwater production was 203.8 million gallons produced. This is roughly 3.83 million gallons over year. So we're seeing a greater amount of production than last year. The good thing is that we're at 16% conservation over 2013, so we're still below our 2013 targets, which is good. On the electric supply side, we're still closing out, so we're working on the July closeout numbers, so I'll report on June. Our June power deliveries to the district were 12.1 million megawatt hours delivered. This is roughly 0.85 megawatt hours over year, so over 2019. So again, we're seeing additional power deliveries. Interestingly enough, our RPS percentage in June was 77%, so strong, which means that wind and solar were performing quite well for us. This is 10% over last year, so we're seeing some strong variability there. With regard to the outages, and as mentioned by Vice President Finn, we've had a number of outages over the last week, and my apologies. And Joe's been working really hard. The new general manager keeps coming into his office saying, "Why is it off? Why is it off?" We've had a few squirrels, a woodpecker, and NV Energy. So we're working on that, but that is causing us to go into this thought process about working to improve our communication with the community and how we reach out to them, how we identify who they are, how we get our message to them. So I convened a working group here at the district to identify the message, to look at how the system works. And that group has been tasked with solving a couple really rudimentary questions, which is, what do the customers need to know right now? And then following that, what do they want to know? And so we'll start building the PIO's package and a greater framework for how we communicate with the community. And I look forward to bringing that to the board in at least a draft format so that we can talk about it at the governance level in the coming months. With regard to our financial position, right now the district has $220,000 past due as of August the 1st. This represents roughly 1.7% of our billings for March, April, May, and June, so a 4-month billing set. Not cause for concern necessarily at this point. For reference, $500,000 equates to 1.2% of our 2020 budget revenues of $41 million. So we're really looking at just around 0.5% of our total budget. So not concerning. The nice thing is that our 30-day is actually gone down. So our customers are they're paying their bills, where we're still in a little bit of a backlog is in our 60 and our 90 days. COVID relief fund that we put out. So the COVID relief fund now has 205 customers have entered the program, and we have to date expended $69,099 as part of that relief package. So if we think about the 200,000 plus that we put into that program, we've got about 120,000 in the 60 and 90 days. We're still actually cash positive in what we thought we were going to put out as part of our relief package. So all in all, I think we're in a good position. With regard to, so one of the things that customer service has started is an exit survey. So after a customer comes into the district, we send an email and we ask them a few questions, and it's turned out to be quite beneficial and a lot of really good information. So there's roughly just under 50 responses so far. 89% of the respondents were very or extremely satisfied with their experience here at the district, which is great. 73% responded that the call was shorter than expected. So they're getting their answer, they're getting it faster than they thought. And then lastly, 89% responded that their issue was completely resolved. So we're in the 11% that we can start working on that group. But the thing is it shows that our customer services is strongly positioned, that we're still answering the call even with COVID, and that our customers are being serviced. With regards to meetings that I have been a part of, we hosted the Truckee area managers meeting here. Oh, well, it was a Zoom meeting, but they threw me to the wolves, and we did great. Director Bender and I met with North Star, with the Truckee Fire District, the town of Truckee, Truckee Sanitary District, and with our incoming county supervisor, Hardy Bullock. I also met with CMUA and UAMPS as they gave me their welcome speech, and we're looking forward to working with you, staff. With regard to initiatives here at the district right now, our COVID response has really been taking a lot of our time at the management level. And so right now, I'm pleased to say that we have revised and implemented our COVID protocol, is in place and operational at this time. These are the written rules around how the district's going to behave as it relates to the pandemic and its continuing pressure. Our testing services have been secured, so we now have a place to send employees when they are sick or we are concerned about their health, and so we can send them to go get that stuff taken care of. And we continue to manage the ongoing pandemic. I am also pleased to announce that I've been reappointed to the Region 3 Aqua Region 3 Board, and to the Groundwater Committee and the Energy Committee. These are key to our work here at the district, because we have a groundwater basin we want to make sure that Aqua is protecting, but also we're a power provider, and so not only having CMUA act on our behalf, but also to have Aqua act on our behalf in concert really helps us out. With regard to strategic planning, I'm meeting with Ms. Hobday this week on Thursday to set our timeline, which will be through the end of the year. We'll start bringing the board back together again as we can to begin our strategic planning process. As part of the work that the ELT has done to prepare for that, we did meet with staff, and one of the issues that came forward was that our values were out of alignment, and that we weren't really weighing safety as the first issue, and communication wasn't one of the stated values. So we put together a survey. We got 90% plus respondents from the district, so we were able to reprioritize those values and add communications, and that will be coming to the board as a resolution shortly. So we're really just updating what we've already done with the first resolution and preparing ourselves to move into the strategic plan. On the renewable energy front and greenhouse gas work, another thing that came out of our discussions with staff was a fueling depot for the district. We are now working with the town of Truckee to utilize their fueling depot, and inside that conversation is the use of biodiesel out of their depot, so we can start using biodiesel in our fleet, reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. They have a biodiesel mix that they're very positive about, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then water operations, I've tasked Mr. Wright and Mr. Horvath with identifying where the operational need for the water system is in terms of energy, and then we're going to drive our renewable package at that, so that we can say that our water operations are 100% renewable and GHG free or carbon free. So that's one of the initiatives we're working on. Broadband. As some of you have heard, this is a place where I'm kind of trying to push out a little bit, but as we're watching the school district try to go to distance learning, I've asked that Ian and the IT team reach out to our school district and try to develop a fiber ring for them, so that the schools are communicating on fiber between themselves, so they'll be faster and more able to service those students that are working remotely. Also, I'm pleased to say the HR 7575, which is the WRDA bill, the Water Resources Development Act, passed the House in a bipartisan fashion. This is significant because it means that in the House and the Senate that they're still looking at water in a bipartisan way, and so we're not yet in that partisan wrangling, which is really good. Also, we did submit a letter to Senators Feinstein and Harris, thanking them for their work on S 4308, which is the Special Districts Provide Essential Services Act. This is an act that's designed to reimburse districts for their COVID expenses. So hopefully that continues to move forward. As it relates to projects here at the district, I've asked the engineering teams to put together a district-wide capital improvement plan. So we'll be working on that over in the coming months as we prepare for our 2021 budgeting. And then on the water side, we're preparing for the 2021 rate package, as well as the water meter MTU replacement project. That project's about 40% complete. And we anticipate September 2020 being complete. The tank site piping modification project, that's 75% complete, and we're expecting an early October completion. On the electric side, rates, I've turned that back on as well, the time of use work that HDR was doing for us. And then the Northwoods rebuild project, so this is redoing the overhead lines on Northwoods. They're right now at 98% complete, and they believe they will be done in August. And then our pole replacement project is going along very well. They've actually met what they thought, the 60 poles for the year, so now they're into new poles if they can get them, and then the current limiting fuse replacement project also. And then lastly, I'd like to thank Directors Finn and Director Bender for their work with us with Moonshine Inc. I thought that went very well, and I'm looking forward to the article. That concludes my update. Thank you.
I've got one question for you, Brent.
Shoot.
How many employees at the district have come down with COVID?
0.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Good deal.
To my knowledge.
That was a very good statement.
Yeah.
A lot of good information there, the state of affairs were all brought up, so thank you very much. I really appreciate you including us in all of those meetings.
You're welcome. If it was too much, let me know and I'll back off.
No, that was great.
Okay.
I actually really like that, so
Okay.
thank you. And there we go, and that brings us to the consent calendar. I guess I have to open public comment. Is there any public comment on the consent calendar?
No, Madam Vice President, thank you.
Thank you, Shauna. I'll close that.
Any director's comments? Does anybody want to pull anything or talk about anything? See a bunch of head shaking. Okay, great. We'll close that.
Okay, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Ready, allow you to second it. Shauna, can we get a roll call, vote, please?
Thank you. Director Ellis?
Yes.
Director Aguirre?
Yes.
Director Laliotis?
Yes.
Vice President Finn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sounds like we passed that.
Our spring, our first action item, I believe, going to have a presentation class, Brian?
Good evening, Vice President Finn and members of the board. I'm going to start off with our new director and district council reporting remotely. If during any of the sessions there's a communication pause and want to speak, it's a little bit challenging to interject, interrupt on Zoom, so just wave a hand or when you pause. Ask me to repeat and I will. So I'm going to go ahead and share here. The first item for you this evening is action item number 10. This is consideration to adopt resolution 20. district to execute and for the infrastructure to be included in that package.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And I think I have an understanding of what we're doing. Okay. And I really just I really appreciate clarity of our goals and objectives in your synopsis that I think you do, and it was very helpful to me. So thank you. And that's all that I have. So do we have a motion on action item number 2?
Can you put it up, Brian?
Yes, for a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2020-2020-2020, authorizing execution and delivery of joint community facilities agreement in connection with the bond opportunities for land development BOLD program for the Coldstream project in the town of Truckee. And I meant to say 2020-2020.
I'll second. Oh, I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you. Director Ellis?
Yes.
Director Aguirre?
Yes.
Director Laliotis?
Yes.
Vice President Finn?
Yes.
Thank you.
You know, Brian, you should have brought that to us on February 2nd, 2020. February 20th, 2020, I said.
That's fine. Awesome. So that brings us to our next action item, which I believe is also, Brian, keep the floor.
Thank you, Vice President Finn. Again, I'll share my screen here. All right, good evening again. This is action item number 11. Consideration for approval of an amendment to the Coldstream Development and Reimbursement Agreement with Coldstream Properties LLC. So to kind of set the framework here, in district code, there is a provision that requires the board of directors to approve any development agreement in which the on-site improvements or infrastructure are intended to be conveyed over to ownership by the district. If that amount exceeds $400,000, the board approval will be required. If you may recall, at June 3rd meeting earlier this year, the board approved the development and reimbursement agreement between the district and Coldstream Properties for the construction of certain potable water system improvements associated with phase 3 of this development. Those improvements were water
Madam Vice President, I do not have any.
Okay,
Okay, I will close public comment and open it up to the directors. Does anybody have a question or comment? I see you unmuted.
Sure. Thanks for the excellent presentation, Brian. Just shocking to see how much a 200,000 gallon tank is going to cost. The good old days, you pay about $1 a gallon to build a tank. We paid about $3 a gallon to build a tank 2 years ago in Palo City. So now I see that number is $5 a gallon. So just amazing how prices have continued to increase substantially. But and so Brian, could you describe where this facility is kind of physically located?
Yes, it is along the south, just above the south shore of Donner Lake, kind of center of the lake, if we, proximity east and west, but along the south shore, in the foothills there, between the rail tunnel and Donner Lake. It's in the housing development that's along the south shore there. It's currently at the end of our distribution system as it loops around Donner Lake. And so that tank facility would provide fire storage capacity and potable use storage capacity for the zone that feeds the entire Donner Lake and Coldstream development area.
So if you don't mind,
So
I have a
is there a
map.
water main?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, is there a water main that's going to go the other direction, like towards the state park then?
That's something the district has considered in the past and is currently considering for future development.
okay, so I'll just expand on that. So Director Laliotis, I've directed Mr. Poncelet to start working with the state park to secure the necessary easements to connect and loop that system. Where Brian's headed is that when the Coldstream project comes on, where it comes onto the system, it's actually going to take some of the water that is currently flowing to the Donner development. So we need to buttress the Donner development with additional storage. Oh, perfect. So you can see on the bottom here, the blue dot on the bottom of the slide, where the new tank will be. You can see the dead end as it approaches the state park. We'll loop the system there, and then we'll have connectivity through the entirety of the Donner Lake area, providing fire pressure and flow through the entire circuit.
So that's going to help both the Coldstream project and the whole Donner Lake area then?
That's correct.
Okay.
So instead
Just
of
to confirm.
having a dead end on that end, we'll now have a looped system.
Say, Brian, how big is that tank that's there now? It's a small tank, isn't it?
It's 205,000 gallons.
No, that's the new one.
It's how big?
The old one.
Oh, the old one. I don't have that number for you. It is a small tank.
It's a small tank, and last time, I visited that tank at one time, years ago, and it was shooting water like a sieve. I'm sure that's why they probably closed it down. But, and that was years ago. I thought that would be the location for that. Yeah,
Yes, from what I understand, it was in pretty bad disrepair
Yeah,
prior to
yeah.
the district taking on that.
they just shut it off, there's no water in it or anything.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's just been abandoned.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
Director Ellis, do you have anything you'd like to?
No, very good presentation. Thank you, Brian.
I have a few questions. What is the timeframe that we're going to be expected to pay that lump sum in? Like, is the end of the development after we've approved it? How long do you think this is all going to take?
So pending approval this evening, the contractor that has been selected by staff and Tiger would be issued a notice to proceed. The current timeline puts the tank completion sometime in mid-year of 2021. That is assuming a favorable construction season. So as we know, the construction of this tank facility requires a lot of things that are weather dependent. welding application, coatings application. So a lot of those processes require, mild temperatures, above 50 degrees for long periods of time, things like that. So we're kind of projecting all things going well, mid-summer to late summer of next year.
That original $500,000 number, was that our best guess at the moment of how much this was going to cost? And so that's a pretty dramatic difference from what we started off with what we have now. Was there new information that hadn't taken into consideration, or is that just like a starting point that we just used,
Great question. Kind of all of that. And so, as Director Laliotas mentioned, there's ever increasing construction costs, material costs, and so some of it is using past information that was available, other projects, and then some of the new information is once the geotechnical testing was done, it was discovered that the previous tank facilities used by the Donner Lake water system weren't placed on favorable geology or site preparation, and so it's going to require additional construction to what we call in the business over-excavating and then re-engineering that earthwork below it. And so that's additional cost. One of the things to consider, this also includes the removal, destruction and removal of the existing facilities. This is a tight location, and so that's going to be challenging. So all that added some additional costs. When we look at the actual construction of the tank, district staff, engineering kind of projections weren't far off. It was the additional work that really kind of led it to the almost double what the original projections were.
And finally, is there any mechanism to cap it? Like, what if expenses continue to exceed our estimate?
So
Is there any upper end?
another great question, Vice President Finn. The protective measures here are that there is a cap at the actual bid proposed cost from the contractor. Any change order authorization must come from staff and staff inspectors. And then if there's any change orders that would cause the cost to exceed the construction contract or the 10% change order allowance, it would have to come before the board again for approval. And so there are some protective measures there. Staff will have an on-site inspector, and any changes or modification will require district review and authorization.
Thank you. That does it for my question. Anybody else had a chance? So I guess we're looking for a motion now. So we have
I will share the screen here real quick for the recommendation back up.
All move staff's recommendation.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Ellis. Donna, could we get a roll call vote, please?
Thank you. Director Laliotas?
Yes.
Director Ellis?
Yes.
Director Aguirre?
Yes,
Vice President Finn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. We appreciate that. And we are on to routine business. We have to approve minutes. Do we take public comment on routine? Okay. Is there any public comment on the minutes of our July 15th meeting?
There's no public comment, Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Donna. Which case we have a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes of July 15th, 2020.
I'll second.
And Donna, this is the roll call, please.
Thank you. Director Ellis?
Yes.
Director Aguirre?
yes,
Director Laliotas?
Yes.
Vice President Finn?
Yes.
Thank you.
It brings us to adjournment. And then we stay for the next meeting, yeah? Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn. Do I have to do that? Okay, no. In this case, I will just adjourn this meeting at 6:47 on August 5th, and I'll see you in another minute. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You know what? Do we have to come back in via another link, or is this is just normal? So I can just open the next meeting right now?
You can open the next meeting right now.
Anybody need to look for anything? Okay. Then we'll just keep it rolling. We are now opening our financial report meeting. But, sorry, I'm on the wrong page now. There we go. It is 6:48, August 5th. I am now opening our financial report special meeting. And I think we need a roll call for this as well.
Thank you. Director Ellis?
Yes.
Director Aguirre?
Yes.
Director Laliotis?
Here.
Vice President Finn? The minutes will note President Bender is absent.
And which brings us to public input. Again, it's the time set aside for the public to comment on our finances. Is there any public comment?
No, Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Shauna. I will close public comment and moving on to our business item, consideration of accepting the annual report and financial statements. And I presume Mr. Salmon has a presentation for us.
Good evening, Vice President Finn and members of the board. Thank you. Get this presentation up here.
I'm not sure.
I still see the amendment to the Cold Spring Development Agreement.
Okay. So the presentation today, this item is a formality. The board has seen as a district board has seen these financial statements before. This is the finance corporation's reading of the same financial statements. So it's not new information. The board went through an extensive audit presentation from the independent auditors on June 3rd, and this is the finance corporation's opportunity to review and accept the financial statements. There's also a continuing disclosure for the water utility, there's certificate of participation debt that has been filed and needs to be accepted by the finance corporation, which includes the consolidated and primary financial statements. The historical information provided filing includes 19 years of historical production of water, historical revenues for water, our 10 largest customers, information such as that, and as well as a debt coverage calculation, which is quite good at 2.4141. This is an administrative matter, the financial impact of the association, perhaps could be if we were delinquent, particularly in multiple years, we had trouble. We are filing reports and so past family and everything is going to The recommendation for the board to consider as part of the finance corporation to accept the 2019 annual report and audited financial statements. With that, I turn it back to the board and questions.
Fantastic, short and sweet. So I will open this up to public comments. Is there any public comments on our financial filings?
No, Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Shauna. I will close public comments. Do we have any directors that have any comments or clarifications or questions?
Michael, do we,
What was staff's recommendation?
what was that?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Do we have a second? Tony's ready for dinner. I'll second it, if I can do that.
Oh, I didn't think it was,
Tony, roll call.
Thank you. Director Ellis?
Yes.
Director Aguirre?
yes.
Director Laliotis?
Yes.
Vice President Finn?
What I was gonna ask Michael is, I didn't never thought we had 2 meetings a year on this.
You probably missed the first one.
No, no, I didn't miss the first one, that's when we did the officers.
It's two meetings a year on this.
It was 2 years ago.
And I have hard copies of the audited financial statements now. I did not have them at the last.
Oh, okay.
Meeting. I'm happy to present those.
Yeah.
Okay, one only item of business here, I think we can say the meeting is adjourned at 54.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Can
you.
we adjourn?
We are adjourned, sir.
I missed that part. Say, Ram, where is that fuel station for the town?
Bye.
Is it by the airport?
Yeah, so it's over by their yard, or their
Oh, by their yard. I see. Their yard. Doggone it, where am I? And we kind of working together, buying the same gas,
Yeah, so they're gonna,
a better wholesale.
exactly, we can get into their